So a good while ago, I made a video called Tips to No Bonusing Throne Stages. I made this like 3 months ago, so very outdated because I just talk about normal throne stages, such as the Jupiter Death Stage, probably somewhere in here. Yeah, and Agaha, I did that too. But throne stages are kind of not very not very easy to no bonus because you got seal stages beforehand, which can be even more of a problem. And in my opinion, most seal stages are more difficult than throne stages because the seal stages actually have gimmicks that prevent our good characters from being used, such as these stages. You see, this guy decided he wanted to play the terrible game and have Soultimate draining on top of insane bonus damage balls. Like, we'll just pop all this, pop a Megumin, Soultimate's gone. And now there's like 7,000 damage balls. It's kind of ridiculous. However, stages like this aren't that difficult. Well, kind of. Really just depends on the kit you bring. Anyways, hi, I'm Sprychan. So, what we're doing today is explaining how to no bonus any stage, whether it be a seal stage, throne stage, some wicked challenge pass battle, something like that. You're going to be able to beat it as long as you have the characters and have the knowledge. So, what we have right here is a stage that is going to drain our Soultimates on attack. Just like that. And he's got a very fast normal too, so you can't just like be 3, 2, 1, oh, and then get drained. No, it's 3, 2, 1, done. I don't know how. I don't know if that went through on my recording software. The hit, probably. But what we're doing is using two specific characters. We're using Knight Nyarther, a Link Big Fever extender with redrop, and Natsune, a Link Big Afterfill EX popper. The Afterfill is 100% useless. It is purely the Link Big. So what we're doing is just getting massive Puni. I did not mean to pop that Natsune, by the way. Don't do that. So we pop this, use a Knight Nyarther because it'll pop the Natsune, and then we use Natsune immediately. Now what you can do is, like, this is a nice little technique, which is pretty useful. You pause the game as your EX popper goes off, and you'll do the little Salt Drain, and then your EX popper can go through, so you'll get a little more benefit. Now we're going to talk about the rest of the team. First up, we have Halloween Kappa-chan. I just put her on the team because I figured the starter range would be useful, and it also just makes it more consistent. We have Aihaibara, who is a Unity plus Fast Fever, and then we have Kokibi, a Unity plus Revive. With the stage is Triple Z restricted, so I don't have any UZ ranks or a UZ plus. So, yeah. Literally, just Triple Z ranks and below, that's all we have access to. But luckily, Charming's pretty good with it. So what we're doing is making sure we maintain the combo that we got from Natsune, and then get into Fever Time. We do a Knight Nyarther. I could have gotten the Geuse Ultimate if I was paying attention, but I didn't. And then we actually happen to get Halloween Kappa-chan. We use it at the last second to get as much damage as we can, and then we have 200k, pretty nice. So we're just gonna make sure we keep popping these little Puni to maintain the high combo, and we're just gonna keep working at it. Keep making sure we're gonna be able to keep the combo, do an EX pop, and then that might be it. Maybe. Yep, that is it. So not the most terrible, which again is pretty good. You like any sort of Link big character outside of like ones with like all popper stun and like obvious EX poppers, they can be used pretty well. So like if there's a double Z stage that does it, the double Z Yukata Uzora Subaru. Let me pull that up real quick actually. So you can use like this guy. You can use we really didn't get a Link Big character for a really long time, did we? You can use, I mean, you could technically use him. I wouldn't really recommend it though. You can, Lotus Ren is like probably the best one for this because he is a tap inflator. I mean, you can just choose where to pop. It also inflates the Puni and he has Link Big. He's pretty good. Megumin we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, like basically just Lotus Ren, like Knight Nyarther, like these characters, they work pretty well. You can also use Queen Blizzaria. I've seen her be used for it as long as you have the high combo just because she has drop big. So that can work pretty well because she's a nuclear bomb character. But yeah. This stage, however, this is a pain. So I mean, it's definitely possible without using Megumin. You're just gonna want to like commit several war crimes if you try it, because it's such a pain. All of these damage balls, the Soultimate draining is ridiculous. You have to get into fever time essentially, and then even when Megumin fires, my LB10 Megumin, even if she had a combo, it wouldn't be enough to kill, which is a massive problem. So I don't get the fever extend with a G Soultimate, which actually does cost me to have to do another Soultimate. I just did these last night, by the way. I got tired of trying with an actual team, so I decided to use this. And as you can see, we got 900k. That's a lot of damage. Except the stage has a million HP, so we got just a little bit left. So luckily, I have this guy with his easy link. Then we can do the Soultimate and get the kill. Also, we got it under the time limit. This one wasn't under the time limit, probably. Maybe. We start at like 2 seconds in and then end with, so yeah, it was like probably like 65 seconds. So you'd have to go a little bit faster than me. But then again, I did miss a G Soultimate, which probably could have saved me that extra Soultimate I would have had to do. So yeah, we could have gotten it under the time limit. And I actually like showed this exact team to somebody who like could probably do it. So yeah. And then as you can see, we get it under the time limit. Seal stages, I usually just clear with either the bonus or with Megumin or Jane. Just because it's so easy. Like, I know there's like a ton of people who are like, oh, but it's not a challenge. I don't want a challenge when I'm trying to clear the event. I want my Y point bonus. I want my throne stage so I can get the video out. If I can do it afterwards, sure, I'll do it like this. But I don't want to because it's not fun. Because, like, tell me, does this look fun to you? The Soultimate draining prevents you from using Soultimates, and your board is taken up by like 50% damage balls. Do you call that fun? Do you call the inability to play the game fun? I don't. So, yeah. So what we have next is Twitter user Yuzu86510. This is actually the same person that made the taking my headphones off. Can't hear myself. This is the same person that made this tier list in the last JP Players video, and I said it was pretty good outside of like the top tiers. The Fubuki bias is actually because the PFP of this person is Fubuki, which is based. If I had Uzora Subaru as my PFP, I would also be having, Subaru be top tier if she wasn't good enough as is. So we actually have the stage, no bonus stage, Seal Stage 1-4, with the Heartful team. So I told you to be muted. So okay, yeah, it's muted. Better be. I can hear it now. So with this stage, what we do is get into fever time and use a Jibanyan. This is he doesn't have a bonus on the stage, by the way. So then they do a Santanatsuyomi to a fever extend to buff the damage. But so here's the thing. With these damage balls, you have to make sure you actually are popping a Puni. If you hit just a damage ball, you will do 0 damage. It will be a waste of a Soultimate and you'll still get countered. So make sure you're popping at least 1 Puni, which makes it a little difficult to do this. So once the fever extend goes through, pop 2 Puni very fast, get a nice pop heal, which isn't necessary as we'll be able to see. Use a Jibanyan, then you can just pop this 1 Jibanyan to get the same thing. And then you can just keep going like this over and over again. Do another Jibanyan. So, as you can see, the damage balls just ain't really a problem right now. You can use a Santanatsuyomi. And then after this next Jibanyan, that's just it. This throne stage has, I keep saying throne stage because I'm so used to it. This seal stage has 1,000,000 HP. And it just ain't a problem for this team. They got over half HP. And they still win. So, we take advantage of the Inflate 4 just being an insanely good skill. Use the Fever Extend to make sure their damage is buffed so we can do it in less Soultimates. Use Summer Setsuna to get in a fever time before taking a normal so the pre-fill can just take advantage. And then have some Unity Slaves. Natsuki Subaru's here instead of Orihime Natsuyomi because of the revive. Just in case it was needed. Clearly it wasn't. But yeah. So we'll close this. Next up we have videos with the no bonus against the throne stage. Yeah, it's muted and then it unmutes itself. I don't understand why you do that. It's kind of ridiculous. So if we look at this team, you'll see we have EX Popper, Feverfill, Unity, then Unity, then Unity, then Unity, then Mercury Asu. Of all the characters, you picked Mercury Asu. You couldn't have picked Double Z Twin Dragon God Ryu. Couldn't have picked Mercury Death. Couldn't have picked Kagure Zochten. Couldn't have picked, like, anybody. Even Slippery McCracken. Really? Mercury Asu. And it actually becomes a pretty big problem. So the team has like 18 KHP, 18.5 KHP with perma bonuses. But as you can see, since they have no fast fever, they have to put in a pretty decent amount of effort just to get into fever time. So they've already taken like 3 normals. And this team is a tribe disadvantaged against the throne stage. So they're doing 10% less damage than they normally do. So even though we have a Nyamba multiplier buffed up by 4 unities and then a fever extend buffed up by 4 unities, they do 350k, 360k basically. You know, they kind of do basically the same thing. 290k. They did a whopping 60k less with 2 whole unities less. That's what tribe disadvantage does. So then we do a Santa U just to, just cuz. Then you could have just popped it right here, or you could have popped the Seiryus, but whatever, you didn't. Could have also linked those Seiryus. Would have been useful, but whatever. Then we do another Mercury Asu, just kind of spam him over and over. You'll never guess what we do next. Another Mercury Asu. But can you guess what we'll do next? Psyched you out because it's a low tier shoe. It's insane. Can you guess what we do next? A Seiryu. You could have waited a little bit and it would have done a little more damage, but it doesn't really matter because it still kills anyway. How do you have like 2 hits left? You got 2 hits left before you die. You have 4 unities. How do you let that happen? Well, it's because I don't know. It's because, yep, knew you were gonna do that. It's because no fast fever, and considering the tribe disadvantage and the no fast fever, it's pretty nice. Except that's kind of just what my Emma team did. So go right here, and you'll be able to see they win with no unities at all. No unity, just a 20% watch, and they win. They do the same amount of damage. So, yeah. Next, we'll go and look at this version of the animal one. There's also one with God of Armor Fudoma. That, just to get that out of the way. So, Fudo Boy Gold is neat, I guess. His Soultimate filling is not really that necessary anymore. I mean, it's pretty useful because it can get you another Omen Enma, but he's really just here for the crits, and you don't even need like the start big anymore because, well, this one has pre-fill, this one has fever fill, and this one can have fever fill, but also has drop big. So, yeah, very unlikely to not have his Soultimate, and he does insane damage too. So, you can do Oni King, then another Jane, then another Omen, then another Fudo Boy Gold, then another Omen, then another Cairo, you'll just be like hunky dory, very easy, and with the crits, it's insanely easy. So yeah, my body just made a weird noise, and then you win right here, 1.7 million, crazy. That's what crits do. And then we'll look at this Heartful one. Heartful is one of the most underrated teams in the game because no one has the characters. But Summer Setsuna, you've seen me talk about Summer Setsuna. You know she's broken. Doll you, on the other hand, let's see what you have to say about Heartful. Feels a little underpowered. Spoiler warning, you got like more hits left than you do with Slippery. Huh? So, the thing with this team, they do pretty decent damage. These 4 do insanely good damage. Noelle does not. And Noelle, spoiler, gets used twice. You could have not done that. You could have brought Orihime Natsuomi in. Then they wouldn't have felt a little bit underpowered, but whatever. So we do an Agaha. So I just want to point out how good Doll U is. Noelle starts out with no Soultimate gauge, pops a size 6 Puni, and then once the EX pop ends, she ends with over half of her G Soultimate all the way there. That's pretty insane. Pretty nice. Wish I had that character, but I don't. Sad. Anyway, so they've done 340k. So with 2 less unities, they have 1 unity, 2 unity, 2 whole less unities. and they did only 20k less than Slippery did. Yeah. And Slippery, I'm fairly certain, probably would have had a 20% watch, so yeah. Yeah, kind of insane. It's kind of just how good Heartful is. Now they're at 500k. If this was Orihime Natsuyomi, would have been a little better, but Noelle does not do any damage. As you can see, we go from like 550k to 700. She did like 160k damage, 170 if we're generous. That's not very much. So she works well with Summer Setsuna. Don't get me wrong, but then again, so does Orihime Natsuyomi. So yeah, I don't know how you can say they feel a little underpowered, considering that this is just it. You've won right here, like very very easily. Could have popped that middle Puni, then done a Santa Natsuyomi, and then you would have won. But we won't do that because I don't know. I don't know. Heartful's just underrated because no one has them. But yeah, Heartful's very good. So I mean, there's normal like throne stages. I'm not gonna talk about these terrible teams with these. I've been using Easy Link Megumin recently. It's so much better, so much better. So, I mean, been using these teams. Here's a bunch of teams. So for an outside player's perspective on what team is good, and would you happen to believe it? It's almost in line with what I say, except for the Mercury Asu. The enemy stats are high. They've been able to do it the whole time. I'm fairly certain you would be. This is like me if I spoke Japanese and was a whale. So, yeah, pretty cool user. You can go follow him if you want. Maybe if I remember, I'll leave a link in the description. I probably won't though. Here it is right here. You can go search. You can also follow me if you want. I just haven't posted anything in a while because I haven't had a reason to. But yeah, pretty easily. But what if I completely forgot about this? What if you don't have like Super 10 and the enemy's got like 18 million HP? Well, as long as you have all the other seals, such as reducing damage balls and all that stuff, you can do something like this. This isn't a no bonus at all. You could use Megumin to no bonus. Just take forever. So here we have a throne stage that's got like 35 million HP. And we have a very strange setup. We got Aqua, we've got Agaha. They are fever power characters. We have Ryusen and Senenki and appear more fast fever. We have low tier Shu, and then we have this guy. He does not have his Unity, by the way, because that means that the stage would have had normal HP. So, yeah. And the low tier Shu being a Unity is really just because I wanted to use low tier Shu. Not Doll U. Friggin' Sansa U could be a little bit better, but I liked this guy for his Link Big to deal with the damage balls. So, it was pretty useful. So, we're just gonna do pretty standard stuff. I do not like damage balls like at all. I think that they suck. I think they're a terrible addition to the game. They just a baboon could make a better design stage than this. So what we're doing is just linking a bunch of Puni. We're basically just trying to survive to get to hyper damage. So as you can see, we're doing a pretty decent amount of damage. I mean like 20k each time, but the damage is not really going anywhere. So I think we survived past the damage balls now, so we can just, survive. We can actually play the game now because damage balls don't obstruct the gameplay. So now we can use a Seiryu, who has a bonus to do a whopping 1.26 million HP. That would be like at least half the Throne's HP, if not just straight up kill at this point. However, because, seal mission stuff, it doesn't even do anything. So we're just going to loop this over and over again. It took me until the next morning to get this throne stage, I think. Because of, like, I tried to get the seal mission day one, which was getting Treasure Seal 6, which is the last thing I needed to do. Okay, you sure? And then, yeah, as you can see, this is 35 million HP. Yeah, kind of a lot. So then I just link a bunch of Puni, and then that might be it, maybe? Getting one more fever time? Yeah. One more fever time, you link them up. God. Most people would maintain a combo, but I don't, because I'm bad at the game. So yeah, if you have the resources and have the characters, you can beat a throne stage that has 35.85 million HP, essentially 36 million HP. You can still beat it because Agatha and Aqua are really good. Like, people hate on Agatha because, like, oh, Aqua's just better. If you can't use Aqua, Agatha is still insanely good. Like, the Agatha hate is insane. But yeah, I think that's kind of it. Got normal throne stage stuff with no gimmicks. We got stages with gimmicks, showing some like setups potentially. Basically, just inflate fours, link bigs, Megumi and Jane. They can kill it, and then even high damage stuff. Now, what if there's a stage that has 36 million HP and also drains your Soultimates? I don't want to play this game anymore if that happens. That's ridiculous. That's never going to be beatable. So, at least not no bonusable. So yeah, pretty insane. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. Hope you have these characters so you can actually take advantage of what I say. Because if you don't have these characters, there is no replacement. You're just not going to do it. You're just going to have to use a bonus. I'm sorry to say that this game wants you to crank for characters, so you're going to have to crank for characters sometimes. It's just the way it goes. Hope you enjoyed, and yeah, bye.